the most haunted buildings in America, where the country's grisliest crimes took place. Number 1. La Laurie Mansion, New Orleans. Built in 1832, this New Orleans manor is reputed to be haunted by several mistreated slaves, a story stemming from a fire in the building in 1834, when neighbors helping to save furniture from the flames reputedly found tortured slaves chained up in the attic by owner Marie Delphine La Laurie, better known as Madame La Laurie, a prominent Louisianan socialite and, it would later be discovered, serial killer. La Laurie Mansion then. La Laurie Mansion in 1832. The fire had started in the kitchen, and upon entering the home, police found an elderly woman, the cook, chained to the stove from the ankle. According to the New Orleans Bee of April 11, 1834, bystanders found 7 slaves, more or less horribly mutilated, suspended by the neck, with their limbs apparently stretched and torn from one extremity to the other, who claimed to have been imprisoned there for some months. Upon hearing this, and once the fire was out, an angry mob descended upon the house and all but completely destroyed it. Actress Kathy Bates plays a character based on La Laurie in the current season of American Horror Story, Coven. The home, which was rebuilt to resemble the original, was owned by actor Nicolas Cage from 2007 until 2009. Not much is known of La Laurie's life after the fire. However, writer Harriet Martineau documented that La Laurie fled New Orleans during the mob violence, taking a coach to the waterfront and traveling by schooner from there to Mobile, Alabama, and then on to Paris. She is rumored to have died in Paris in a boar hunting accident. Number 2. Villisca Axe Murder House, Iowa. On a quiet residential street in the small Iowa town of Villisca sits an old white frame house. On a dark evening, the absence of lights and sounds are the first indication to visitors that the house is different from the other homes that surround it. Upon closer inspection, its doors and windows are tightly closed and covered. An outhouse in the backyard suggests that this house does not occupy a place in the 21st century. That's because on the night of June 10, 1912, the 6 members of the Moore family, who live here, and 2 other children were killed in what remains the state's worst mass murder. Parents Josiah and Sarah and their 4 children Herman, 11, Catherine, 10, Boyd, 7, and Paul, 5, as well as 2 of the Catherine's friends Ina, 8, and Lena, 12, were all found with severe head wounds from an axe. Investigators believe that all of the victims except for Lena Stillinger had been asleep at the time of the murders. Investigators also believe Lena attempted to fight back, because a defensive wound was discovered on her arm. Lena was found on the bed with her nightgown pushed up to her waist and no undergarments on, leading to speculation that the killer or killers sexually molested her or attempted to do so. While many suspects emerged, Rev. George Kelly, a traveling minister and suspected pedophile, was twice tried for the murders but was acquitted both times. The case remains unsolved. Number 3. Farnsworth House, Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. The famous Civil War battle at Gettysburg was one of the bloodiest in its 4-year history. Farnsworth House, named for Brigadier General Elon J. Farnsworth, was home to Confederate sharpshooters, who would shoot Union soldiers from the windows during the conflict. It later operated as a makeshift hospital, and currently functions as a 9-room bed and breakfast. 5 of those rooms are said to be haunted by the ghosts of fallen soldiers, as well as a midwife called Mary, who many guests have reportedly seen sitting on their beds at night. Number 4. Joshua Ward House, Salem, Massachusetts. Joshua Ward House, 148 Washington Street, Salem. This brick mansion was built for merchant Joshua Ward in the 1780s on a foundation that had previously been owned by Sheriff George Corwin, who became known as the Strangler for his role in the killing of many accused witches during the Salem trials of the 1690s. The spirits of his victims are said to still reside in the house today. The town of Salem, Massachusetts is no stranger to macabre record and disturbing legends, and Joshua Ward House is one of its most prominent. The Georgian Federal-style building was constructed by Joshua Ward, a wealthy merchant sea captain, in the late 1780s on foundations built by notorious former Sheriff George Corwin. Corwin was a bloody figure, whose zeal added to the unfortunate events surrounding the Salem witch trials in the late 1600s. Nicknamed the Strangler for his preferred method of torture, which included tying his victims next to their ankles until the blood ran from their noses, he is said to be responsible for death of countless witches. One of them was Giles Corey, a man who stood accused of witchcraft, who Corwin crushed to death by placing heavy stones on his chest in order to extract a confession. Before he died, Corey curses the Corwin and all the sheriffs that would follow him. Rumor has it every sheriff, since Corey uttered this curse, has died while in office, or has been forced out of his post, as the result of a heart or blood ailment. Corwin himself died of a heart attack in 1696. Today, many of Corwin's victims, including Corey, are said to live in Joshua Ward House. Number 5. Dock Street Theater, Charleston, South Carolina. The tales of those that hunt the Dock Street Theater on the site of America's first theater is much different from the serial killer, soldier and witch type ghosts usually heard. It was originally constructed around 1809, as Planter's Hotel by the Calder. It's said that there are two entities that continuously wander around the theater. One of them was a famous actor by the name of Junius Brutus Booth, most famously known as the father of the man who killed President Abraham Lincoln, John Wilkes Booth. The other ghostly creature, a nameless prostitute locals call Nettie, who is believed to have frequented the area also in the 1800s. Nettie worked at the hotel, and was struck by lightning standing on her porch. She was killed instantly. The theater recently underwent a 3-year, $18 million renovation. Number 6. Boone Hall Plantation, Charleston, South Carolina. The Boone Hall Plantation, founded by Major John Boone and then sold to brothers John and Henry Hurlbeck, is the final place on the list of America's most haunted houses. And like La Laurie Mansion, it is said to be inhabited by mistreated slaves. The brothers expanded the property's brickyard, and set some of their 225 slaves to work operating dangerous kilns for the local building industry beginning in 1817. According to legend, the numerous spirit sightings at the plantation have all occurred within 20 feet of the kiln, and a slave girl and slave boy are the most commonly spotted.